In recent years, Australia's debt capital markets have become of age, transforming into a premier strategic funding hub for both local and global issuers. Australia now benefits from a large and active bond market with over $2 trillion of outstanding debt issuance from international and domestic corporations as well as governments.
We didn't just want to do a one-hit wonder deal that everybody would applaud and say, wow, that's great. We wanted to make the Australian dollar market a cornerstone of our future financing for the next 10, 15 and maybe more years. Thank you for having me. I thought it was a very good discussion. One theme came up several times, which surprised me. It's something that's important to us, diversification. And I think the lesson learned that it's something important not only from an issuer perspective, but from an investor perspective as well. And I think that came out a lot more clearly than I thought it would. But it was good to hear that minds are open. People are trying to find opportunities to match up this Asia and Australasia corridor.
India doesn't have a fixed rate paper which is longer term in nature. That is a market that is developing, which is very, very important for the long-term funding for India. But that is something that makes us venture offshore.
From an Austraclear perspective, one of the things that we do is we have this issuer representative concept. And that was set up deliberately to allow offshore issuers to access the markets.
Thank you very much for having me at the event today. I thought it was really informative and helpful to understand from my perspective as a Director of Responsible Investment where Asia sits in relation to responsible investing and ESG initiatives and how they think about investing in the region, and then also how the region in Australia and how the investors here can access opportunities in Asia in that area.
There is just sort of this initial hurdle that once you overcome that and you start to get exposure, you can see that there's a pathway there to increasing exposure more rapidly over time.
We'll want to know what the story is as opposed to just the credit rating. What are you doing? And hearing that story, that you can simplify it, makes the bonds really attractive. This is why they need the money and this is what they're doing.
Yeah, look, it's really exciting. I'm the treasurer of IntelliHub. I joined the business 3 years ago. It was great to attend the event and also to be the recipient of the award. It was very exciting. We had a $3 billion refinancing that we completed last year.
The manager selection would be key. It would have to be a manager that we are really comfortable with. It would help if it's a manager we already have in our stable of managers, but it's not to say that's the only way we would play.
So some of the businesses we're looking at and we're speaking to are people who are component manufacturers that need capital to be able to support the build-outs that are happening.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, it's the first time I've been at the event. And the panel session I was on had like a lot of diversity in terms of views and a lot of angles to talk about. Some contrary opinions, so that's always a good thing, I think, to hear different opinions and not everyone agreeing with each other, but seemed like a well-attended event and a very important subject as well that needs to be front of mind for investors overall. Yeah.
For the first time, we found a 20% increase in the rate of Australian investors responding that they were interested in supporting climate solutions in Asia.
We're looking at the top 10 issuers in infrastructure, and it's either data centres or energy supporting data centres. And that is just coming right along, and you can see it starting to inflow quite quickly into Asia too.
Great to be here. I think today's session is really helpful for me to understand the infrastructure space in Asia.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, first of all, for inviting us and the award. We're very proud. The event was absolutely interesting. The Kangaroo Bonds instrument, of course, is something that, as an Australian-based company, I mean, we're not directly dealing with it, but it was extremely interesting understanding how external investors to Australia are approaching the market and how fast the growth has been. So yeah, absolutely interesting.